Welcome to BSR TV for this special Mountain Thunder GT event with me, Chris Cohen, and Rob Burton. Evening, Rob.
Evening, Chris. Thank you.
I'm coming to you live from Bathurst, Mount Panorama, to be specific, and multi-class race this evening, endurance. So 2 hours of 3 different types of car on this very packed circuit, all new to iRacing, of course. So drivers may well have driven it in other simulators, but they're definitely new to it in iRacing. So we'll see what happens this evening. Looking out there on track, we're just about ready to go with a 15-minute qualifying session ahead of a rolling start, and then a 2-hour session. So we're looking at the McLaren, the Corvette, and the Ford GT as well, so some exciting cars to choose from. Which one would you have picked, Rob?
I'll probably pick the Corvette, because it seemed quite a nice car. I had a little go around here as well.
And that's going to be the fastest of the 3 this evening, so you'd be under pressure there to not fall behind the other classes, as it were.
Yes, and one important thing to mention is even though they've got a qualifying of 15 minutes, there's only one flying lap.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. So we've seen some rather good laps in the practice session so far out on track, but when you're under pressure just to put that one lap in, it might change things. But of course, it's a 2-hour race, so if you qualify at the back, it's not necessarily a problem, is it?
That's right, yeah, 2-hour race. There's plenty of time to make up quite a few paces.
And this new track has come along just in time for the new tyre model as well, so that's going to be throwing a small spanner in the works of some of the drivers, right?
Yep, that's right, yeah.
What's the main change here? What are we talking about?
Well, I haven't really, like I said, I only had a little go at it. I've not really seen too major changes. I mean, I'm still trying to learn the track and know where to, what each corner is and how hard to brake. It's quite a challenge, actually. I like it.
And of course, it's split into 2 main sections, this circuit. So we've got the large sort of straight outfield section, and then up the mountain and down the other side where it gets really twisty. It's about a 4-kilometre circuit, so we should be seeing around a 2-minute lap from some of the fastest guys, maybe a little bit slower, just accounting for race pace there. And well, how about pit stops? Because they're gonna play a big factor, especially needing to refuel.
Yeah, good point. Actually, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, there's pit stops as well. I'm not quite sure how many laps they can get out their fuel tanks and that lot, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah, so we're expecting perhaps a 2-stop strategy from most of the drivers out there, perhaps 3, depending on how it goes. I think one of the main factors that we need to think about as well is that there are unlimited resets in this session because it is a new circuit. Not a lot of the drivers have been able to get used to it as much as they'd like, and no one wants to start a 2-hour race and sort of crash an hour 45 in and not be able to finish.
Yeah, hopefully everyone can take it easy the first couple of laps, because it's going to be quite busy on the track from the first bit to the start, spreading out after a few laps later on.
Now, we're just having a look at some of the pictures from the circuit itself. The spanner that I am has joined the session in the wrong mode, so we're not going to be able to see the qualifying because it is individual qualifying, so the cars won't all be out on track at the same time. So it looks like we're stuck with just some pictures of an empty circuit for about 15 minutes here as the qualifying gets underway. The cars will grid up about 1/4 the hour, whatever hour that is, wherever you are. And once that happens, we'll have a rolling start for a 2-hour GT session. So how's it looking at your end, Rob? Have you got the qualifying up on your picture? Oh, we seem to have lost Rob for a moment there. Let's continue anyway on with this. We've got about, let's have a look. We have about 40 drivers in this, an even mix between the McLarens, the Ford GTs and the Corvettes. So it should be interesting to see. We're definitely looking at about 3 or 4 second difference a lap between the classes. So there's plenty of time for the Corvettes to pull out in front. But during the early stages at least, we'll be seeing a close packed field And that first run up to the mountain might be interesting because we're going to have 40 cars all in quite close proximity. And of course, there's nothing to say that these qualifying sessions will produce the Corvettes at the front, the McLarens in the middle, and the Fords at the back, especially with only one lap. So you could well see some of the otherwise quick Corvettes coming through and having to start from near the back and work their way through the field. Are you back with us there, Rob?
Yeah, sorry about that, yeah.
Okay, just to let the viewers know, we're having a few bandwidth issues here. It's unusual on this particular connection, but we'll stay with it and struggle on through. So if there's any interruptions or anything like that, do stay tuned, and I'll see what I can do to improve things. But we're looking at some pretty fast times. I mean, from the practice session, Rob, there, our fastest time this evening was 2 minutes 0.8, so 2 minute 0.8 rather than 2 minutes 8 from Luke Ridgway in the Corvette. But are you expecting anyone to beat that in qualifying?
Probably not. I mean, I was in a practice session with him the other night. He was very fast then as well. But there are, if we look further down, there are a couple of drivers on 2 minute 5 seconds, and it's really close there.
Yeah, of course, and the other classes are going to be doing different times. You may be seeing 2 minute 10 from the Ford GTs. I mean, we're looking at 2 minute 8.5 in the practice session for the Ford GTs.
That's right. Yeah, 2 minutes 8.5.
And it's worth bearing in mind that you can run quite a light fuel load for the qualifying session because it's 15 minutes. All you've got to do is go out there, provide one hot lap that is, come back in, be satisfied or unsatisfied with your time as it might be, and then fuel up properly for the race. So we'll be seeing some slower times during the race itself.
I'm getting some qualifying lap times on the board now.
Good stuff. Unfortunately, the live stream doesn't have that information, I'm afraid, so maybe you can keep us informed. Apologies for that to the viewers.
At the moment, we've got Nick Fizzin with a 2 minute 1.7.
That's a pretty good time to start off with, given that you only got one lap to do it in.
We've got Richard Goodwin behind. We just had Oscar do a 2 minute 0.7.
So that's what was Richard driving the Corvette as well?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Excellent. So we're expecting Luke Ridgway to put in a good lap. And is he your favourite for this evening to take the Corvette class?
I think he is. I watched him for a bit. He was fast in practice as well, so I'll probably expect him to win it. But I think it'll be close.
And for those viewers who are regulars to the BSR TV British Touring Car Championship that we also cover here on this channel, you might see a few familiar names out there. Adam Terry, second place, runner-up in this year's championship, will be driving in the Ford GT. Ellis Stevens, this year's winner, will be driving in the Corvette. And Dave Grunill is out there as well, and probably a few others that I haven't realised are in here. Oh, and Matt Dalton as well is going to be racing, and Simon Topham's in now. I'm not sure what classes they're in, unless you have that, Rob.
Yeah, and we've got Ellis Stevens there as well. And Andy Dalton, of course, you just mentioned. So there are a few people there. You have got Richard Goodwin in the Corvette. You've got Matthew Dalton in the Corvette, and Ellis is in the Corvette. So quite a good battle there for the Corvette class.
And we're about 5 minutes through the qualifying session. Now, drivers get 15 minutes to do their single lap in the qualifying. And how's it looking up the top?
It's looking quite close. Oscar's still got the lead. I mean, I've still not seen Luke Ridgway put a lap in yet.
So he might be, using the psychological tactics, sort of waiting, staying in the pits, coming out a little bit later on, putting in what might be a blinding lap, and then sort of moving out like that.
Or he might have written the lap up possibly.
I mean, is that something you would do? I wouldn't, watching motor racing for a long time, I wouldn't want to set an early qualifying lap and sort of sit there and bite my nails till the end of the session and waiting for people to beat it.
Yeah, I mean, normally if you had a couple of laps, or put a slow one in first, make sure you've got one on the board, and then do a fast one. But in this situation, you really got to go for it, I suppose.
Absolutely. With the 3 classes of car as well, the new track, not a lot of people have had too much experience on this circuit in iRacing at least, and with the new tyres, the way they work, this does throw a lot of unknowns into it. How would you be approaching that from the rolling start, straight from the off?
I'll be taking caution really, because there are a couple of tight corners first of all. The run up the hill, and then really there's no way to pass or go to side really, side by side. So you really got to be patient until you get on top of the hill.
Yeah, and once you're in that mountain section, obviously overtaking becomes an issue because this is not a wide circuit, and the mountain section has very few straight areas. So if you are driving a Corvette and you're maybe behind one of the Ford GTs or something like that, 2 hours of racing to go, surely you're going to be thinking, let's just wait till we get to a straight before we try and edge past, right?
Yeah, I mean, really, the only straights on top of the mountain really are just coming out the last corner onto the long straight at the bottom, and of course at the start as well.
And in a straight drag race, the Corvette has a huge advantage coming downhill as well, with the massive amount of power that it generates, even over the McLarens. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of the overtaking happening there. Some top drivers out there, very sensible drivers as well. So hopefully they won't be trying to squeeze past too quickly in the mountain section, and they'll leave it till the straight. But who knows?
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully they'll leave it till the straight. Be patient and let the other faster cars by.
Now I'm just having a look at the table here. I'm not actually able to see any of the qualifying times, but why don't you give us an update on the top 3?
Well, at the moment we've got Oster Hardwick with a 2-minute .7. Then Nick Thiessen with a 2-minute 1.7, so the second difference between pole positions taking place at the moment. We then got Richard Goodwin in 3rd, Philip Widdowson in 4th, and Matt Dalton bringing out the top 5.
And I've just got that information through now as well, so I'm looking at hopefully the same thing that you are, but we've got the top 6 are all Corvettes.
Yes, that's right, top 6 all Corvettes.
And we actually got 7 Corvette qualifying times in so far. The fastest Ford GT is currently Richard Sobolewski. I'm going to apologise to the viewers in advance. We weren't quite sure of who was entering, and we haven't been able to practice your pronunciation of your name. So if I screw your name up, I'm very sorry. But Richard Sobolewski is in the Ford GT in 13th place at the minute. The top time from the Ford GTs is about 2:08.4. That might improve.
Yeah, it might improve. There's some other guys below that, 2:09, 2:10, so it is a bit spread out down there.
And I suppose with just one lap of qualifying available to you, you're going to be taking it easier than you would if you had a set amount of time for the qualifying, because effectively you don't want to mess up that lap, put in a time that's just horribly slow or even damage the car.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I still haven't seen Luke Ridgway set a time in qualifying yet by the look of it, if my screen's correct.
No, I'm seeing the same thing as you are, so we haven't seen him put a time in. Our British Touring Car Championship stand-ins, Dave Grunill and Adam Terry in the Ford GT have both posted times at 2:09 and 2:10 respectively, and Ellis Stevens is currently on his time is posted as 2:07 in the Corvette. I shouldn't say currently on, because that's the only time he'll be able to post there, with just one qualifying lap. I should explain to the viewers at this point that unfortunately, due to the way that I've entered the session, I'm not able to bring any coverage of the qualifying session, but we'll fix that up for the race. Coming on to the race itself, which will be starting in about 3 minutes. We're looking at perhaps 40 cars coming up to that mountain section right off the bat, and although these cars you do get as many resets as you like, so if you do crash, you're going to be losing a fair amount of time if you need a tow or you need to make your way back to the pits for repairs.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of drivers there, and the first couple of laps I suspect to take them easy because there's just going to be too much traffic around.
And how much of affectable traffic play. I mean, we're talking about 40 cars over a a Grand Prix length track, 4 kilometres, really.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. It's a long track, about 2 minutes long, and we expect it to take quite a while for them to go round and just be patient and look after the car because it's such a long race.
Yeah, and we should explain, I guess, that there's no full course cautions here. So if there is a bit of an incident in the mountain section, which is where it's most likely to occur, then there is an incident, and people are going to have to kind of make do with that. The worst thing would be, to set a whole load of great times around here and then just not take it easy in the mountain section and hit an existing incident, as it were. I'm sure there will be some, just because it's a challenging track that people haven't necessarily got used to yet. So we'll be seeing quite some action out on the track. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's the trouble with the first part of the track anyway. Going uphill, all the tight, twisty bit. If one or two drivers do spin or something like that, it's going to be hard for all the others to get by.
Yeah, absolutely. And just coming back to the qualifying times there, I'm still only seeing 27 times posted. Is that just my system, or is that the same with you?
That's what I'm getting as well, 27 times.
So the qualifying is now 14 minutes underway, so we've just got the final minute to get a time in, and I suppose that if you don't finish your lap in that time, you won't actually post one at all.
That's right, yeah, you'll start from the back of the grid, really.
I mean, we've covered this slightly already, but it do you think that's going to be, you might as well you put in a qualifying time, or do you think that some people would just say, well, I'll just focus on the race, and I don't mind if I start from the back, even if I am behind slower cars?
I think some people might start in the back, take it easy, wait for mayhem to start off and calm down, and then make your way to the front.
I mean, is it even possible to kind of start from the pit lane and just give the other cars a 10-20 second advantage to avoid the crashes?
It can be, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if at one stage they were going to leave a gap between each class of cars so they don't get all over each other.
Just to let the viewers know as well, during the race we will kindly be joined by some of the drivers live from the track. Personally, wouldn't want to be doing it myself, trying to get around this tricky course and talk to us in the commentary box with our very probing questions as well, but we'll see if we can get hold of them at some point during the race and just find out exactly what it feels like to drive one of these GT cars around this rather twisty, tricky circuit. And tyre wear is going to play a huge factor here as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Tyre wear is going to be quite massive here, and the amount of laps they're doing, I think a lot of them are just coming back from their bathroom break because it's a 2-hour race.
Excellent. So the cars are making their way onto the grid. This will be a rolling start, don't forget, so there isn't the whole panic over the grid itself. I'm just having a look down the driver list here to see we do have 43 cars in here, and I believe now we can go live to the circuit. Yes. So and again, this information is going to be slightly out of date. I'm still getting the updated information through. Look at that field, Rob. That's a pretty impressive sight.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive for a good race that got advertised about this, and a massive field there.
And just having a look at some of these cars, the paint schemes that have been put in place here, that some of those are looking fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of paint schemes updated there. Hopefully I updated my paint schemes so everything should be how it is.
One or two recognisable colour schemes out there, including we have a nice Union flag on the roof of one of the McLarens on the left of your picture, and I believe the pit lanes car paint is out in force. The pit lanes guys taking part in this event too. So, just a few seconds to go. Yellow flag here. The Mustang pace car will get the action underway, and rolling start. So we'll be going round for a short while before the cars make their way, and there'll be no hurry initially. A 2-hour race, plenty of time to make your point, I suppose. Do you expect to see any of the drivers really go for it from the off?
It's hard hard to say really. I mean, normally sometimes you can make quite a few places up on the start, but with this totally new track, it's only been out for a couple of days, I suspect someone will take it a bit easier.
Indeed. We're just coming round the last part of the circuit now, and I'm just going to reset the timing screen because I'm not sure that what I've got is correct. We're on board here with Glenn Reid as the lights go out, and the Corvettes will be making their way away from the line here into the final corner, and some of the cars already over the line. My positions are still out of date on my screen, unfortunately.
The Corvettes are pulling away now from the other field behind them.
Yeah, just look at the difference there. For the viewers at home not familiar with us, the cars with the kind of yellowish headlights turned on are the Corvettes, and the similar shaped cars just behind those without the lights would be the McLarens, and the Ford GT with a slightly distinctive shape should be picking up the rear. But 2 hours of racing from Bathurst, from Mount Panorama, is underway for Mountain Thunder GT. I'm excited to see exactly how this pans out, but let's hope they can all get through the mountain. Oh, big slide there as well. Let's hope we can all get through the mountain without too many incidents on the very first lap.
They're doing a good job of it so far. No incidents I can see yet.
And on my screen at least, we are having a few connection issues, unfortunately, Rob. So once again, apologies to the viewers, but it is a big session, so connection is a little bit of an issue here. We're seeing some very strange things here, but this is just lag. It's not actually cars bouncing all over the track. Try and mitigate those a little bit, and try and go on board with current race leader Oscar Hardwick in his rather multicoloured Corvette here, coming down the longest straight on the circuit for the first time. Let's just have a look as he goes round, and I'm seeing quite a few connection. Are you seeing any connection issues your end?
Yeah, on the video I'm seeing a few connection issues myself, cars sort of jumping around a little bit, but it's getting back to where it was now.
And it's hard to say actually. This connection should be far. Oh, a big slide from Oscar Hardwick up in front there. He wants to take it easy as this is only lap 1. So we're still on board with Hardwick coming over the start-finish straight onto lap 2. Easy left here onto the fairly short by comparison straight that leads up to the mountain section here.
He's put out a nice little gap there, 1.2 seconds over Nick, second place there.
And we're just looking back now from Oscar Hardwick. The camera is a little bit all over the place because there are some fairly significant connection issues at the moment. I'm hoping that might settle down once we get a little bit further into the race, but not a lot we can do from here, unfortunately. We just have to put it down to the perils of large sessions and iRacing, especially on a Saturday evening. And Hardwick then with a little bit of a gap. Again, gaps doesn't really matter too much at this stage of the race. Nick Thiessen there in second place. He is about a second behind. It's not going to make too much difference here, and we're expecting what about 45 minutes before we see the first round of pit stops here?
Yeah, probably about that, maybe a little bit less than that, probably 35, 40, but yeah, it's going to be a little while yet.
That's good stuff, and let's have a look, see what the McLarens are doing at the moment. We're currently looking at Julian Oligo in what I believe is the lead McLaren in the Red Bull livery there. He's actually keeping pace with some of the Corvettes down round at the back there as well.
Yeah, there's one Corvette there that must have hit the wall there and just avoided it.
Yeah, and it does look like the cars are all over the place at the moment on the cameras, at least, because of these connection issues. As we go on board with Oligo here, coming down the straight to take the right hander towards the end of the lap, just finishing out what will be lap 2 here. He's doing well to keep pace with these Corvettes, although it doesn't really matter. He's not really racing them.
Yeah, I mean, he might like just to keep a gap like it is, really, so he's not getting held up too much himself.
comes over the start-finish straight now, and all of the Corvettes so far that I can see, Rob, are actually in front of all of the other classes. Oh no, we have lost one. We have lost one of the Corvettes. Not sure what happened there.
Well, looking at my screen, I've got down the bottom of the list of Corvettes of Aiden, Ellis, and Bartos. So we'll see what happens to them shortly.
So yeah, you're right. Actually, there's some action going on in the pit lane here. We've got, well, unsurprisingly, really, I suppose a few of the cars are coming in for repairs. Unlimited free repairs here, as we join up with Lenoir Philippe here in 9th place in the Corvette at the moment. But even if you say take it easy, you know, on the first lap, doesn't matter. We've got 2 hours to go. There's still going to be some kind of action, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the minute there's three Corvettes and 2 McLarens in the pit lane at the minute, so it is quite busy at the minute in the pit lane.
Yeah, indeed, and the connection. I'm not sure what's going. I really am not sure what's going on here, but the connection issues are going. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad from my end. I mean, that is an actual collision, I believe, or is that? No, I can't even tell because it looks. It's just.
Yeah, there was a collision there. Yeah.
As Lenoir Philippe's collided with another of the Corvettes, a little bit of damage on the front of that Corvette there. It looks like. Trying to see if we can do anything about the quality of this picture. This is not a problem with the stream. I should explain to the viewers. This is a problem with the connection to iRacing, which is quite rare, I have to say.
Yeah, it is quite rare. We know it brought out a new update lately now, so maybe I don't know. I'm not sure how stable it is.
So maybe you'll be able to answer this one for me, Rob. If I exit the session and rejoin that, I should be able to get back in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's what we'll do under the circumstances. Just looking at Lenoir Philippe there come around and complete another lap, but the picture quality is pretty bad. It is an iRacing connection issue. So what we're going to do is exit out and then rejoin the race and see if we can improve on that. Apologies to the viewers for that, because that's clearly not ideal there. Big race though, obviously quite a long race. Important to get the best quality picture that we possibly can. So there's going to be a little delay at the moment while we boot up the iRacing client once again and get the picture back. But in the meantime, Luke Ridgway didn't seem to be too far near the front. Now, this is one of the guys that you tipped, Rob, to do very well in this race, but should he be too concerned about that?
Not at the moment. I mean, I think he's made a decent sort of start. He's kept out of trouble. He's towards the front end of the field, so there's a long way to go in this race yet.
Yeah, and with the unlimited resets, how many do you expect to actually drop out, having gone to the sort of effort of committing to doing this Saturday evening or Saturday afternoon if you're in America, or whatever time it might be? 2 hours, you sit down, you're not just going to drop out after the first 5 laps, even if you have contact, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say really. I mean, over the whole race, probably about maybe 5 to 10 people, I would think.
And our field was, what, 43, 44 cars?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So, even towards the end of the race, we should see a good number of cars out there on track, and we fully expect the Corvettes to finish a lap or 2 ahead of the McLarens, probably. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right, yeah.
So we'll try and head over to the track once again and see how things are going here. Does look like we're getting a better picture, just fingers crossed, as we go back to the track itself. Having a look now at Ellis Stevens in the Corvette, who's had an incident early on and is down in 31st or 30th position now. Oh, that's one of the McLarens off backwards, facing the wrong way, which is a big shame. Picture seems to be alright now, thankfully, so you should be able to continue watching this. Sorry about the first 10 minutes there. That is one loud colour scheme on the Corvette of Ellis Stevens, Rob. I mean, what is that? I don't even know what that is. some interesting colour schemes out there on the track. Anyway, 11th place man Phil Widowson is down by 2 of the McLarens at the moment. He's put in a 2 minutes 4 so far, so about 4 seconds off the pace that we know is possible, and this is where it really gets tricky coming into this mountain section here. Very twisty, up and down a lot, not just up and then straight back down again, up and down within the mountain itself, and as you can see, a very narrow track, not many overtaking opportunities here at all. Widowson though with a little bit of clear track in front of him. Which do you think of these cars is the trickiest to drive around here, Rob?
It's hard to say really, because I've not really had the experience of driving all of them around here yet. At the moment, I would probably say maybe the Corvette. I can't really say.
And that's the Gulf Corvette of Ford GT rather, of Adam Terry coming into the pits there. Looks like he's getting one of the free resets going on. Is it the DeWalt cars? Oh, they want to watch out there. That was almost unsafe release, but Adam Terry is underway as well, and I expect the pit lane will be quite busy throughout this race because people will just be coming in and out all the time. Looks like we are having further problems with the connection to iRacing. It doesn't seem to be too bad at the minute. Having just said that, it is the cars are jerking all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just give you a little rundown on the positions in the Corvette class in a minute. We've still got Oscar Hardwick out there in the lead. Gary Feekins is now second, with Richard Goodwin in third, and Luke Ridgway now up to fourth.
So he's come through the field, a long way through the field as well in doing that. He is he did start a long way back. He didn't set a qualifying time as far as we know.
Yeah, he didn't set a qualifying time, so he did start from the back, but there were at least six other cars that must have pitted with damage or something, because that's how we got him the front now.
And that's Luke Ridgway we're looking at there in the number 80 pink Duracell Corvette there. Of course, a lot of cars will have dropped back just from the fact that they don't have, they don't have the ability to stay on the track, unfortunately, for various incidents occurring all over the place. We are still having issues with the connection to iRacing, so we might have to take a look at that. If you are watching live, thanks for bearing with us. We'll try and sort this out as soon as we can. Just looking at the connection information at the moment, we have no problem with the live stream. We've got the bandwidth. It just seems like iRacing's not playing ball, but with the release of the new track and everything that comes with it, the new tyre model, there's going to be a lot of people using the service this evening, especially as it's the weekend. So that might well be to be expected. So I think what we're going to try and do here, Rob, we're going to try and drop down the quality of the stream a little bit, which will involve restarting. But if you are watching live, stay on the same Twitch TV page that you're on, and when we restart, it'll be at the new quality for you, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of an improvement. So apologies from BSR TV for cars bouncing all over the track here, and stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a moment.